The New Orleans Saints offensive playbook is one of the best playbooks in all of Madden 26. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down every little bit of it, giving you a full set of audibles that you can utilize, as well as going through some of the best formations and giving you some play breakdowns that will help you run this offense. Now, we're going to start in the wing tight nasty. This is, I think, one of the better under center runs for the red zone, and that is just a halfback stretch from this formation. Really, really good. You have halfback inside zone. You have kind of some unique routes here within the passing plays. So that's a nice little formation you can use in the red zone. You also have this formation that has halfback stretch, halfback dive, tight end attack, and 26 duo. If you want to run the ball, this is a really, really good little formation. I personally love single back wing slot, especially if it has these audibles right here where you're able to get that stretch, dive, and duo runs. I really am a big believer in these three runs this year. I think they are some of the better runs in the game. Really, you can do whatever you want as far as a passing play goes. I personally probably am just going to run a basic play action cross shot because it's going to give me the ability to have good pass protection as well as a good crossing route. Single back tight Y off is one of the best under center formations out of what we call a 11 personnel, which is the predominant formation you're going to be in within this playbook. However, this specific one is honestly pretty poor. It doesn't have some of the best plays that you want. You do have halfback zone weak. You do have a jet sweep, but in general, you don't have the wide zone. You don't have the 0-1 trap. So I don't love that from the Saints playbook. Moving up to the I-form pro, I-form close, these formations aren't going to get called a ton, but there are actually some really good plays in here. For example, PA Scissors, good combo, just a basic plays that are really good. You have Z-spot with a decent post, short corner, and a little flat route. You have Texas with a tight end post. See if there's any other power routes in this playbook. I don't think there is. Yeah, not really. This mesh has a corner, but that's kind of the stock tight end corner anyway. So if it was me, I'd probably just have the stretch in here, and this wouldn't be a major formation that I would run. However, the I-form Y off close does have an auto motion in it that does make it really good. This motion flood with an auto motion streak is a helpful run play. Then you also do have a basic stretch. And then the other plays in here, pretty average, I would say. Not like a crazy power formation, but is kind of a cool little formation just because the auto motions, I'd probably have an auto motion run off of that and then probably just a basic dive. So anyways, those are I-forms. Strong wing. This is a good formation for down in the red zone. They have a couple really good runs. They have a halfback stretch. They have a fullback dive. And then they have a motion power and a play action off of that. So those are some decent plays that you can have in this formation. They do have some decent pistol stuff. The pistol U off stack has the stretch and the halfback zone. Halfback zone from pistol formations is typically one of the better ways to run that run. It also has double post with really good short posts out of two receivers. A lot you could do with that play in terms of building around it. And then the other audible here is probably going to be this PA boot just because you get that stock fade on that left-hand side. And then this one right here is a really good formation, pistol wing flex close. I like to have the zone weak, the wide zone, and then the auto motion motion slot comeback. This auto motion play is a really good red zone play that you can kind of build around. And then if you wanted anything else in here, I would probably say maybe just motion dig it goes, just because it gives you some things you can kind of build around. Deuce close, not a formation I'm going to run a ton, but you do have it in the playbooks. Might as well have some audibles. Halfback stretch, counter Y. Counter runs from pistol are traditionally pretty good. And then I would probably just go mesh spot just because you can build around that stock fade. Wide trips, again, this is an 11 personnel, so this is a good way to have some runs to audible down into if you're running a 11 personnel based offense. Pin, pull, sweep, super good play. I probably just put the runs in here. I think these three runs are really good. And then really kind of whatever you want to do from a passing perspective. I think ultimately motion corner strike makes a lot of sense just because it has some unique things that you can do with the play. And now we are into our shotgun formations. So shotgun formation number one is going to be actually this heavy saint. This is a fun formation. It's not exactly a formation that you can realistically set audibles for, but it does have three powerful plays: QB blast, QB power, and then a mesh sit. I recommend you can at the bottom here, the packages, you could put your quarterback in here if you wanted to. If you just go to the basic formation that puts your quarterback in here, you could also put your tight end in here. You could also put your gadget player in here. So I think it's kind of a fun formation that you can kind of do some cool things around. Shotgun deuce close, couple things here. I think this motion wide receiver corner is a play you want to have because it has that short corner, really good for attacking a variety of different coverages that you're going to be facing in this game. The run play is it's okay. I wouldn't say maybe just the read option, honestly. Actually, no, the RPO peak stick is probably the best option here. Passing, the other cool part is bench dig curl gives you another short corner left side. So this is actually a really good deuce close. And then you have this U off stack. U off stack is a really, really good red zone formation. There's a lot of things that you can do from this, starting with this auto motion play. If I can find it in here, it is this motion PA switch flood. So it's already in the audibles for you. This is a really, really powerful play. I like to have the motion punch, the motion under, the motion switch flood, and then you can really do whatever with that other one. Motion PA crossers, because you get kind of a speed flat route, can make some sense there. I think in general, just the either the outside zone or the RPO alert out, either one of those make a lot of sense. Now, wing slot offset. This formation has the same personnel and a couple different things that we can do from this formation. First and foremost, you have inside zone, and then you also have that halfback punch play. I would probably put the RPO bubble there instead of the inside zone because it is an inside zone run, but now you have a bubble attached to it. And then the double motion plays, they're okay. Really, I think the only one that makes sense is the toss. I mean, yeah, they're okay. I'm not going to put them on. I'm just going to put some basic pass plays in here as well if I ever wanted to pass out of this formation. So now we're going to get into the bread and butter of the offense, the bread and butter of this doubles flex swap close. This is a great formation. This is a powerful formation in this game. It's a formation that you want to be utilizing and probably basing out of as kind of a base offense. Now, what this has is, as far as audibles go, you want to have PA snag, motion angle while wheel, and then you want to have flood. Those are like non-negotiable. These three plays right here pretty much have to be in your playbook. If you're audibling into this formation, if that's your plan, then I would put the flood H post in there. If you're not audibling into this, I would probably just put any kind of run that you feel comfortable with. I think overall, probably the best run is going to be this just simple RPO zone peak glance because it has a bubble, it has a post, which you can hot route to other stuff. Now, doubles off close weak. This is a new form, or a couple new plays in this formation this year that are actually pretty noteworthy. First and foremost, your run needs to be the RPO read bubble. Your pass motion mesh rail. This is a great play and a play that you can build a lot of your offense around. So you want to have that in your arsenal. The next play that we're taking a look at is probably going to be the auto motion flat, just because it gives you another kind of variation of that motion. So I like that. And then it has kind of a unique in route on the back end of the play. Other than that, as far as like plays in this formation, I would say really a couple different ones, but ultimately I think this PAY cross is really good just because it has kind of a unique crosser and it has a post sit from the slot receiver. If you didn't want to have this as an audible, pivot in seems to me makes a lot of sense just because it has unique streaks and it has a stock return route, which are better than the hot routed ones. Normal Y off, this is a formation. Whenever you have a formation like this that you're not going to do a lot of passing around, I like to have run plays in these kind of formations. So one of the ones that I will set is this just 45 quick base, the inside zone, and then really I think it makes a lot of sense here to have this one play. Where is it at? Double dig. This play is good because you have a short corner, RPO peak slant. You can kind of go with that. The other play that you could do is just a basic read option or a counter read. I probably just put the read counter just because it's kind of a unique run. Now you also have in this formation, this playbook, Bunch X Nasty, and this Bunch X Nasty is not like amazing, but it is a good formation that you can kind of build around. And there are some cool things that you can do from this formation this year. So one of the ones that you want to have in your play is you want to have this play, just basic smash return for these guys. And then the other one that you want to have is dig return. So kind of some unique stock old school bunch style plays that are really, really good against what a lot of people are going to want to be doing. And then you also have this play, if I can find it, double outs. This has kind of a unique zig. So you see how we're kind of playing a little bit of small ball with this bunch offense, which also makes a lot of sense of the fact that the last play that I want to have is either this RPO zone alert if you want to pass the ball, or run the ball, or I would put the motion speed dig under because it has a really good crossing route over the middle of the field. Bunch spread, this is a formation that's just a nice to have formation. There's not a ton of powerful things about it as of right now, but there are some cool things that you can do, and it does have some unique routes. So, for example, one of the ones that I would like to have is this short post motion out of motion slot hitch, the short corner out of motion slot under, and then this also has an outside zone, which are really good shotgun runs. For the last audible, a couple different ways you could go about it. I would say in general, corner divide is a pretty good play just because it has a unique post route and it has a return route. So you can kind of build some combos around that. Now, one of the main reasons why you run Saints playbook is for this Y off trips nasty. This is a great, great, great formation in this game. You have the RPO read flat, you have the inside zone, and if you wanted to get real crazy, you also have a counter run. But you have two really good runs. You have PA double post, and then you have dagger whip. These are kind of the standard Y off trips nasty plays. As far as other plays from this, there are some other good plays, but none that I think make the cut for the audibles. Y off trio close, great formation in this year's game. You got to have motion mesh rail. You got to have flood. You could have PA cross switch. I really personally, for the runs here, you have a lot of really good runs in this formation, in this playbook. Honestly, I think the 0-1 trap makes a lot of sense just because it's just a really good run, hard to shoot it. The other play that you want to have it here, though, if I can find it, let me see if I can find it here. Where is it at? The boomerang mesh rail is kind of a cool play, but you also have PA power shallow cross. I love this play because it has a short post on the right side, and you can kind of build around it within the play. And then I think that's it for this formation. You could have smash return if you don't want flood. Smash return will just give you a little bit. What's nice about flood is it's like very quick hikeable, right? Tight Y off. This is the hidden tight Y off. This hidden tight Y off from last year. Really good formation. The motion Y corner. You're going to have motion slot choice, and you're going to have motion mesh spot. Now, those three are non-negotiable, and then the other one is really up to you in terms of whatever you want to put in this because it is to a degree a standalone play. So I think it makes a lot of sense just to have a run play out of that style. That's pretty much it for this type of base flex. Can't really be ran that well right now. Tray open, their tray open does have some cool stuff. You do have an auto motion in this tray open, so I like this play H motion shallow cross. You also have some decent runs here. This RPO alert stick is a cool run. And then the passing plays, they have this Y drag that has kind of that unique streak. This Jet New Orleans has a really good crossing route, but there's not a whole lot of crazy things. I mean, the short corner from Y corner probably makes the most sense there. And then let's see if there's any other thing. I would probably just put stick, honestly, for that good table route. I'd probably have that in the playbook. So the other thing they do have is trips, tight, and flex. How can you not love that they have trips, tight, and flex? Motion Y post, RPO Omaha, bubble and the verticals play. That's pretty much all you need. They actually have an outside zone for this, which is probably pretty good. But I'm gonna go with that RPO. Stack by flex, as if we needed more. They do have a stack by flex, which there's some things you can do out of this. Like you have a base, you have quick base, you have these kind of unique routes out of this formation. So definitely some things that you can build around within this. Y sail with that table route. Fade out is a must have play. That play is really powerful. It's really good in the red zone. Salem pivot with a return route and a deep zig route, really nice. And then I don't know that there's any other one that's like yelling at me right now. Y sail, we got kind of a deeper dig or zig. Curl combo, corner strike. Yeah, I think that's going to be about where we want to be at there. The spread, if you want to run spread. Empty, if you want to run empty. Empty triple stack, kind of a crazy formation. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on the field and break some of these plays down. I'm normally going to come out and play flood H post every single play. So you see here, I have flood H post on the field. What makes this play so good is the fact that you have a short corner route to this outside right receiver. So all you're going to do is you're just going to stem this all the way down, streak, and then drag. So it looks like this. And you're looking for this short corner route. If that's not open, you have a high-low over the middle of the field that you can work really, really well. The other thing about the short corner is I can't decide if it's better to the wide side or the short side. Because you'll see here on the short side, I feel like it's almost better to the short side. But I don't know. As of right now, we're still kind of learning the game. But anyway, this short corner, when it runs fast like that, it's really hard to stop. It doesn't always run fast like that. But you know what I wanted to do? I actually wanted to try this out. I'm going to put Jamar Chase in that position just to see, because I bet you he will run that route. I bet you he will run that route fast every single time as we're kind of working through some of these combos. But I do think, that flood H post, if you could get that route to run fast every single time, it's really, really hard to guard. Sometimes, like I said, it runs slow. But you see, Jay Chase actually ran it super slow there too. So maybe you don't want route running, because you see when he runs it slow, the curl flat defender can get out there a little bit better. So, and it could just be like, honestly, random. No, he's running it slow consistently. So that might be a route running thing, which is honestly unfortunate, because you would think that would actually make the route better. That time he ran it fast. All right, so there you go, a little live lab in here. But now moving on to some of the other plays in the playbook. Motion mesh route. I love this play because a lot of people are going to run cover 2 on that right side. You can audible to this, and all you're going to do is just simply streak Jamar Chase, and then you're pretty much good. And what you'll see here is that this auto motion route to the running back, which let me actually re-explain that. This auto motion route to the running back is really good. The only thing is if they have a soft squat there. But if you're on the short side, you'll see here, streak Jay Chase, and then on the left side, you kind of do whatever. But let's take a look at this against like a cover 4. You'll see that running back gets in a soft spot for a potential back shoulder fade. And then let me actually show it against cover 2. It's better against cover 2 on the short side this year. And we'll just see, as you see right there, when it's on the short side, the deep half defender isn't as effective at slowing it down. Really, the best way to beat cover 2 is honestly to the short side. All right, I got to test this corner one more time, see if Jay Chase just cooks. He does. So there's short side. The other thing about this corner route that we didn't talk about is hard flats are not going to stop it. So you see how the hard flat kind of freezes, and then that's wide open. So the only thing they can realistically do is play cover 2 and hard flat. And so because of that, that's going to kind of make, that's going to give them all kinds of issues. Like, yes, that does stop it, but now your post's going to layer over the top of that in that second level. So anyway, really good route. You also have motion angle wheel. What's nice about this one is this backside player can honestly just put him on a drag like that. I think that spaces out pretty well. But watch this short corner. See how he's going to get a lot of space, a lot of leverage on that slot corner in a really good spot. Another good play out of this formation is PA snag. Combo something like this. Really, really good. You're going to have that drag. That post kind of gets into a soft spot. The Raiders are just out here to play today. But this This is actually a really cool streak because he's going to really clear out well and make it hard to switch stick this route consistently. So you have that route within the playbook. Another route that I feel like you kind of need to throw, honestly, if you're running this offense, you can kind of get to it a couple different ways. But the way that I like to do it is essentially it's going to be like a comeback route with a drag underneath it. The reason I feel like you need to be throwing this is because if you don't throw that route consistently, you honestly could throw just a standard out route. I feel like, let's take a look at the standard out route. It's not terrible it's actually not bad against zone. However, against man, let's just take a look. I think this out route could actually be a thing here. I'm going to get it to 15 yards, get it real deep here. And he does kind of win, but it's super slow. So, anyways, I just feel like the one thing that makes his offense not as good as last year is you can't get a speed out here. Unfortunately, like that would make such a big difference. It really would in this offense. But anyways, this formation is super, super good. A couple other plays out of this real quick. So Y sail is a good play. Normally, when run Y sail to the wide side like this, this is really, really good because this fade is going to clear everything out, and that corner runs super deep down the field, and you're going to be able to get it into a lot of good positions. The other reason why this is really good is for cover two, right? Because we talked about cover two. So a couple things with this. So if you run the traditional cover two beater with the double streaks, you're going to see that the cover two actually cages that combo this year. However, what you can also do, what you can also do with this though, is just leave this deep corner, and against cover two, you're going to see he's going to run super far back, and that cloud will drop down. This is also a little better specifically against cover two to the wide side because it's going to give the corner a little bit more space to work. So see here now, when we run this is never, ever going to get played by a cover two. Okay? So that's another good play within the offense. You also have, which we need to get into some of the other stuff here. You just have a lot in this playbook. You have trips tight end flex, motion Y post, money play from last year, great this year. All you got to do is call hike. You just call hike, man. You have a cheat motion. Yeah, it's going to clear out space, and you have this kind of natural high-low over the middle of the field. That high-low just spaces out really, really, really well. The other thing about that is because we're motioning from the short side or the wide side to the short side against cover two, you're going to have a decent chance of hitting cover two over the top. It just depends a little bit on this deep half. You'll see here, the deep half does a good job of getting out wide, but the way that you can just kind of mess that up is if you go to trips tight end, flex, and you streak the tight end. And then what I would probably do is have like a backside post. I think that makes the most sense. And then I actually would drag the slot. So it looks like this. And what you'll see is against cover two, if you are getting cover two to the tight end side, which a lot of people will do, your cheat motion route becomes pretty lethal on that side. The other thing that you can do that's really just if someone's running a lot of cover two on you and they're kind of relying on the mid read because the mid read is a lot better this year, just go to trip side and flex verticals. You don't even have to put your running back around. You can just block him. But what you're going to see is against that cover two, the mid read will really get manipulated by the crosser. The deep halves will get split, and this will be a one-play touchdown against cover two. So, anyways, another thing that I really like trip side and flex, especially if they run man coverage, just because I feel like this play is so hard to stop in man, because this tight end just gets wide open. You have a fast table route, and then if you put a slant there, like look how sharp that tight end post cuts. It's just super good against man. But anyway, that's a little bit on trip side end. The other formation I wanted to cover, if we go back over on this hash, is the trips nasty. So dagger whip, great little play here. What I like to do is streak the slot receiver, come back the outside receiver, drag, and block. So it looks like this. This is really, really good if they go cover three, because you're going to see that this tight end is going to kind of get in a soft spot against cover three and potentially be a big hitter for you on that side. And then if you're wrong, like let's say it's like cover four hard flat, there's just a lot of pockets to be able to throw. So if it is cover four hard flat, then you're able to hit number one, you could hit your comeback late in the play. Number two, you're going to be able to hit this seam streak right in the middle of the field over there on that right hand side. The other reason why this is a really fun formation is it has a short post on the slot receiver. So what I like to do here is just streak the solo receiver, drag the tight end, and then a couple different ways that you can kind of go about it. One of them is to streak the running back. I don't love how this space is out. I prefer the wheel with an out route on this right hand side. And what you'll see here is if the user stays in the middle of the field, you can throw this running back pretty confidently at the numbers right in that little pocket. And then if the user runs over to the right side to guard the running back, then you're going to be able to have a high-low read progression on this backside. Make sure you're resetting your pass protection to base consistently. Look at that pressure. Shout out to the Raiders. Shout out to the three defensive tackles on the Raiders just shutting me away. But anyways, that's a really good play from the playbook. You also have this wild trio close, which is a great formation with motion mesh rail. Just streak this guy. You're going to drag this guy over here, and then you post and then put the running back on a streak. Why is this good? It's good because you're going to see that you get really nice clear out streaks, especially against cover four. That outside fade gets into a really good spot on the field. And then the other thing that you have out of this wild trio close that I think is really cool is this play flood. You don't have to do anything. Just stem the corner down is what I would do and just snap the ball. And a lot of times that zig is going to be wide open. From a running perspective, this playbook is really good because you have the RPO read flat, which this, especially if you're audibling to it, it's going to out leverage a lot of defenses regardless of their coach adjustments. So you're going to be able to have that to attack over on that side. And then you also, let's say that they're kind of overcommitting to the play, which normally is going to mean a hard flat. That's where this dagger whip becomes super valuable. And you can run a setup like this, kind of like a bench pivot. And you're going to see that deep in route or that deep zig is going to get wide open. I don't know what I was in there because the out route was actually wide open first. But anyway, let me just show that one more time. So let's say, they flip with you and then they have a hard flat. You'll see that this little zig gets into a really soft spot of the defense that you can use to attack the coverages. So anyways, that's a little bit of wild trio close. I don't need to spend a ton of time on that. I've talked a lot about bunch X nasty. Don't need to talk about that too much. The only other thing I was going to show you, a couple other things. One of them is this tight wide off, which is kind of a fun formation. Motion wide corner. Literally, what I would do is take this outside receiver and I would put him on a flat route, and then I would put this guy on a streak and block the running back. And you're just going to see that this tight end gets in a soft spot right in that little alleyway right there. Really easy to hit him consistently against a cover four. And then if we come back over here to that same formation, you have this play motion slot choice with a stock slot fade. What I would do is just a basic drag of the tight end, a post, and a stem down all the way like that. And then you're pretty much good to go. And you have kind of a high-low read here that can attack a lot of different defenses. The other play that you have is this motion mesh spot. A couple different ways to run this play, but one of the ones that I think is best is just a streak on this left side guy. And then honestly, you could kind of just leave this. If you wanted to, you could put the running back on just a basic flat, or you could put the running back on a streak. And then if you did put the running back on a streak, I would put a stem corner on this guy, something like that. So anyways, what you're looking for here is this auto motion is going to kind of run into a really interesting position on the field. Got shedded again. Dude, shout out to the Raiders defensive line. Like they are just here to ball today. Oops, I totally messed up the play. One thing about this formation is the buttons do kind of switch. So anyway, I like this version. I actually think this version is pretty cool. Just a basic flat here on the left side. You have kind of this, really unique route that you can throw against a lot of coverages. Really, the main coverage that does a really good job against is actually going to be cover 2, and I'll show you it against cover 2 real quick. So if they are running a lot of cover 2, then this is going to be a really good play. And again, on the backside, really you can do whatever you want with those other guys. But what's nice is this will pop a cover 2 coverage. So you have that route as well. And then we wanted to talk just a little bit about Trey Open. What's nice about Trey Open is it has this auto motion this year. And it's kind of a unique Trey Open because this guy kind of nubs up. Anyways, what I would do with this play is first and foremost, it spaces out really well if you run it like this. And you'll see here that this guy comes across. And it's kind of very similar to all the other auto motions, but it's really good spacing. And that post comes across. Like it's hard to switch stick Trey Open because the post route is going to come open like right like in a spot in a window that is very difficult to switch stick. So you'll see here cover 4. Again, you want to be audible into this. It'll make the motion run a little faster. And you'll see right there, you see how it kind of gets into that nice soft spot of the zone. And then the other thing about Trey Open that I think is really, really good is it has this Y corner play with a short corner on the tight end. What I would do is a streak. And then what you're going to notice is you'll see how that slot corner moves inside like that. That really helps this play get open. Maybe if he actually ran. He did not run his route very well. But anyway, you do have a short corner there. And then, really the main play is this motion shallow cross. The RPO is cool because you can actually hot route all these players, which I think is kind of cool. And then I can throw like little pop passes like that. So you have that within the, you should have a lot in this playbook. You really do. You have a ton of options. The only thing I wish this playbook had a little better under center runs from this type of personnel grouping. They don't have the best ones, but you do have a lot of stuff. You have trips. We didn't even go over stack Y flex. What's cool about stack Y flex is on fade out, if they hard flat on this left side, this little snap throw right here is really good. It's really good in the red zone too. And then you can really do whatever you want on the back end of this. Now, just for the sake of our time, I wanted to show you kind of how I like to run this offense down in the red zone and show you just some of the stuff. If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure you join our school community. It's only $10. It gets you access to everything offensive, defensive ebooks that I have. You can sign up at the link in the description below. So this U off stack, this formation is really, really good for a lot of reasons, but really the main one is this auto motion to the tight end. So what I like to do with this is I like to put my running back on really anything but that route he's on. So, in this case, we'll put him on a streak, for example. And then on the left side, what I like to actually do is put this outside guy on a flat. So you'll see there, I'll put him on a flat, and I'm going to put Chase on a curl. Now, it looks a little weird, but what this is going to do is this auto motion is going to oftentimes, be one-on-one in the back of the end zone. If you want to get big and high point it, you can high point it. It is kind of a good high point route. But then the other thing is if they are in man coverage, you see how he'll space for this drag, and the drag just gets into a really nice pocket on the field. The other way that you could run this play is with a whip route. What I would do on the right side now is I would probably just do a basic, something like that. But really right here, we're looking for this little whip. You could throw that whip right in that little pocket. Really nice route for the red zone. So you have that. You also have an RPO out of this. And what's nice about this is this little screen, quick throw, and you're in the end zone. So this just has a lot of cool stuff out of that. I do like this double under just because it gives another look of the motion. You have a fast table route here. What I like to do is flat the outside guy, shocker, right? I'm going to slant the inside guy, and then with the tight end on the right, I'm going to put him on a cross. So it looks like this. And you're going to see this is basically trips tight end in terms of how the routes kind of work together. Need a little bit more from the O-line there. But again, motion double under, just flat, slant, crosser. You leave the table route. And if we get time in the pocket, this little route gets right in that little pocket right there. So I like that. I think that's a pretty good play. And then motion switch PA, or we talked about that play. The motion HB punch brings him across, gets you a +1 blocker, snaps it quick, and this is one of the better runs in the game. The other thing about this is you can audible into other stuff. So remember I talked about deuce close being a really good deuce close. So what I like to do with this deuce close is, stem this corner all the way down like that, wheel the running back, streak the tight end. On the left side, really can do whatever you want. I think something as simple as that, or just blocking a tight end makes a lot of sense. But watch that short corner in the red zone, gets really in a soft spot, and you're able to attack the defense with that. You have the single back wing, all the under center stretch runs and all of that stuff if you wanted to. You also have this pistol wing close. So that's another reason why I think Saints is so good, though, by the way. Their red zone is really, 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 really good. So what I would run this is I would probably have a stemmed corner and a whip. Watch this running back route just shuffle out to the flat, really clear the space, and then you can kind of attack with your zigs on either side. So anyways, this is just a good all-around playbook that has a great red zone, which is really what puts it, I think, in the clear-cut top 5 playbooks in this game just because of the red zone alone, because you need to be able to score down here, and it has all the good formations to dodge away up the field, but also has some of the best red zone in the entire game.